Okay.
I had to wait 12 weeks for a computer. It didn't have a camera when the guy didn't realize it until I tried to do the last Zoom and I had to get on the phone. There are no computers to buy. Nothing around.
With Diane.
Well, that's yours.
Diane was sick. I'm just trying to night. She's so tired. And I'm not a real good. You beat the cancer, but you don't beat the problems afterwards.
Man, that just poisoned your body.
It ate up her bone marrow. Right now, it's every 3 months. She's going for bone. And the insurance just told most of it.
Oh, that's good.
So 17 treatments over 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
They drill a little hole.
Okay, are we still there? Sorry, for some reason it jumped me out. I don't know why.
We're still here.
Okay. So we're ready to start the meeting.
Okay, it is, my clock's probably wrong. 5:43, we can start the meeting. And Mike, do you want to do roll call?
Sure. Chairperson Moore,
Here.
Vice Chair Rogers,
Here.
Roy Campo, our Chairman, our Commissioner Compost,
He's got an excused absence.
Commissioner Dolan. He did tell us at the last meeting he wouldn't be here. Commissioner Gary,
Here.
Commissioner Rand.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum, Madam Chairperson.
Okay, so did everybody have a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I did as well. Did anyone have any thoughts or changes or any? No? Okay, I would like to make a motion to accept the planning commission's minutes from 2021.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made by Chair Moore and seconded by Chair Rogers, Vice Chair Rogers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Look at the record show that the minutes have been approved. Number 4 on the active agenda, we still have a continued public hearing. Conditional use permit application 2021-0058. Request conditional use permit to allow the construction of 2-unit recreational vehicle park in a B2 general commercial zone. Conditioning uses are permitted after approval by the Planning Commission in accordance with SMC 17.64.020. The property is located at 10 Maple Grove Road on northwest corner of the intersection of Maple Grove Road and Yakima Valley Highway. Staff, do you have anything for us on that?
Sure. The applicants are requesting a 2-unit mobile home park to have 2 units on their facility, on their property. The units are currently already there. There is a provision in the Sunnyside Municipal Code that allows for an applicant in the B2 zone to apply for a conditional use permit. There is in section 17.72 criteria for reviewing a conditional use permit. And then in Sunnyside Municipal Code section 16.14 to provide development standards for a recreational vehicle park. those development standards such as utility screening, guest parking, vehicle exiting, street standards, recreational vehicle park, bathroom facilities, service buildings, barrier-free design, and then administrative rules. And those are in the staff report. What we are recommending is it be approved, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. I'm open to any questions that the members may have.
I know that Peggy Beeler had sent a letter in, and I had it earlier today, and I couldn't print it out for some reason, and now I can't see it. But I thought she had some great points, some things around town that should be maybe addressed by code enforcement. But one of my thoughts on Mr. Rand's space, I had to get up a few minutes ago because I had a homeless guy try to pretend to be a inspector knocking at my door. We've got thieves all over town. It's constant for us. We have to get up in the middle of the night and come over here and patrol our own property due to some of the police enforcement's new rules. I think it's a great thing for him to have out there for security or employees that need the space. He's got product out there that's expensive, and fences aren't keeping people away, cameras aren't keeping people away. So I think it's great, even though maybe we should address Peggy's letter on a note for maybe all of Sunnyside, but considering that this is a spot that Mr. Rand isn't going to be renting out for profit, I think we can address the RV park situation in a different meeting regarding Peggy's letter.
Mike, did you get a copy of that letter that Britton's referring to?
Yes, I did, and
Have we,
I had included it in this packet, but I did not. I apologize for that.
have we opened the public hearing yet, Mike?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No, we have not.
Okay. Okay, Mike, I want to address a couple things as a commissioner, and then I'm going to have to also ask for a continuance on the public record. On the open hearing that we're having, because I want to speak as the owner as well. And if I step out, then I'll be stepping out as, and then we won't have a quorum.
That's correct.
My daughter Jennifer is going to be speaking tonight. The only thing I do want to address on this, as a commissioner is when we drive around town, and I haven't seen Mrs. Beeler's letter, so I have no clue what it's referring to. But as we drive around town, we know that there's a housing shortage beyond belief. And if we want to keep hiding that and closing our eyes as representatives of the city, I think we all should be ashamed of ourselves. But I don't think that's the case, because we have so many people that want to get the homeless out of there. In particular, like it was just pointed out by Madam Chair, is that the homeless, they live in my trees behind my shop. There's two different people that go back there and camp out. And we, as a business owner for our community, it's not my only business that's being stalked. It's pretty much any business that has no security. So as a business owner, we need to start addressing some of these issues. And as a planner, we should bring some of these things into our developments that we do in our town. as Madam Chair said, fences aren't necessarily keeping us out. So, I can't really speak much on the topic because I am going to recuse myself at the next meeting to speak as the owner. So, I just know that we do have a very, very large amount of travel trailers throughout our town that, as I think Ms. Beeler's saying in her letter, that our code enforcement has a blind eye to. And once I read her letter, I'll understand it more. So that's all I have to say at this time.
Madam Chairperson, this may be a good time to continue this until the November 9th meeting. And then during the section under commissioner member comments, that would be a good thing to bring up because I think this is something we can discuss then.
Okay,
Because there is some alternatives we can look at and possibly the planning commission might want us to move ahead and look at those.
yes, I agree.
I will move that we continue this to the November meeting.
Well, Jennifer's on the phone, Jennifer Rand, and she'd like to speak. So do you want to open the public hearing for her to speak on this? And we can table it, or do we have an option of only one public hearing?
I can be
No.
there on the 9th so that we can wrap it all up at once.
Okay, then I will, Vice Chair Rogers, do you want to make that motion one more time?
I'll move that we continue this at the November 9th meeting.
Okay, and I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Yeah. Okay, so we, do
Can we
we?
pass this?
Yes, you have a 4-0 vote.
To do that? Okay. All right, so we'll move that to November 9th.
Okay.
All right, and second, 4B, we have a public hearing for an application to rezone a 0.94 acre parcel from urban residential agricultural RA to medium density residential R2. The parcel is located at 6 Southfield Road on the north 320 lot of Hillcrest Tracts Expedition in section 36, township 10, range 20. Mike, do you have anything for us on this?
Yes, Madam Chairperson, this is an application to rezone from urban residential agriculture to R2 medium density. The issue here is the applicant would like to subdivide her property, and under the urban residential agriculture, the minimum lot size is 1 acre, and she has 0.94 of an acre. The idea of this zone is to provide for limited agricultural uses to continue once they're annexed. And this particular property does not have a agricultural use on it. So she's requesting a rezone to rural land or to R2. The reason she's asking for R2 medium density is the R2 and R3 allow a kind of a flag lot development. And with this lot, it's a long, narrow one so that if she was divided into 2 lots, she couldn't get 2 lots off of it. But with the R2 and R3, they allow what's called a panhandle or a flag lot. And that would allow them to be able to develop the back with an access easement to the back. Basically, the property around there is different types of zones. Most of it to the east is urban residential, and most of it to the west is heavy industrial. This is a particular property. If you look at the site map or the aerial photo there is an access road right next to and actually part of this property that provides access to the adjacent property. That's my comments, Madam Chairperson.
I drove by this property today, and there is a gravel road that has a lot of parked cars. I'm wondering if those folks work at the truss location.
May I interrupt? This is Carolyn Gonzalez.
Hi, Carolyn. Let me go ahead and open this the public hearing up first.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Mike, do you know the driveway I'm referring to?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That is parking for the trust company in the back, I believe, but the applicant
Okay.
probably can answer that better than I
Oh,
can.
there it is. Okay, there's a better view. Yep.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, yeah. That property's really just, that Mrs. Gonzalez is referring to is just, there's nothing there and, it's in rough shape, so it'd be wonderful to have someone build a nice house on it.
Mhm.
It's behind the home, that's on the road. Any commissioners, did any other commissioners have any comments or thoughts on it before we open the public hearing?
Yes, this is Commissioner Rand. I think with the, Mike, like you're saying, with it only being 0.94 of an acre. We, in that part of town, it's kind of like we're pushing that agricultural out. So it would be really kind of nice to either, have that upgraded. And I think it's a good idea whether they're going with the R2 or R3, even if they do just build a single family home. But that could also give them an option, maybe if they wanted to build a duplex in there, wouldn't it? Going with an R2 or an R3.
Correct.
And so that could possibly give the owner, another thought that they maybe could build a duplex back there so that they had a place to live, and then they produced a rental spot for another person. And I think that would be a really good spot because I don't see any other long-term use for that other than a residential area. And I really would thank the owner for wanting to invest in our city the way she is, because no matter how she develops that, it's going to be quite a bit of money nowadays. So I would just like to thank her for putting the time in and for wanting to invest in our community.
Thank you.
Commissioners, anything else? I can open this up to the public hearing. Okay, public hearing is now open. Mrs. Gonzalez, would you like to come forward, state your name, and let us know where you live? Or what city you reside in?
I'm sorry, Madam Chairperson, when you turn your head, we kind of lose what you're saying.
Oh, okay. We're going to open this up to public hearing. Mrs. Gonzalez, would you like to come forward and state your name and let us know what city you reside in?
Yes, my name's Carolyn Gonzalez, and I reside in the city of Sunnyside. And I am the owner of the property on 603 East South Hill Road. I know you had mentioned that road. We had spoke to the Port of Sunnyside, and after we did we've already surveyed that area, and it turns out that road is actually it's actually my property. After we did the survey, the only part of it that I didn't own was the front part of it where the entrance is, but I've already talked to the Port of Sunnyside, and we're in the process of purchasing that. But in the meanwhile, the reason why the parking was there is because I guess they thought that was actually their road, so they've been using it this whole time. But the Port of Sunnyside is actually in the process of they actually have access to the trustway has access to their parking from the bottom, because there's another road on the bottom. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it to where they have access from their area. So they're going to go up, if that makes any sense, so that they don't have to use my road anymore. And they're also going to fence that up.
That's great news for you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're just definitely just wanting to go ahead and we're wanting to build a home back there, and then possibly just once we've already built our home, then possibly just rent out the front home.
That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
So my question is, this is Commissioner Rand, from where the trees are, we have the overview of it. On that gravel, so you're your land goes all the way to the outside of the gravel line where they've been parking their cars at?
Right. Yeah. So that whole road is actually ours, all but the very front part of it, the entrance part. And we haven't had, they're still using it, but they're in the process of, so that they don't have to use our road anymore. They're going to develop something on their area so that their workers are able to access from just, so they're not having to use my road.
Well, that's wonderful for you. You got a nice gravel road going back to the back part of your property.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, like I said again, I would just like to thank you for wanting to invest in our community. I think this is a wonderful idea.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioners, did you have any questions for Mrs. Gonzalez? Okay. Mrs. Gonzalez, did you have any other things that you wanted to add?
No, that was it. Thank you for hearing me.
Okay, we appreciate you being here. We'll go ahead and close the
Thank you.
public hearing. Staff, do you have a recommendation on this for us?
Yes, we recommend that the rezone be approved.
Okay. And I'm trying to find the page, Mike, where the recommendation is. We want to move this to an R2, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So page 8 and page 9 of the staff report has the conclusions and the recommended motion.
There it is. I have it circled.
Commissioners, all move that the commission concur with the findings and conclusions set forth in the staff report and recommend approval of the rezone application RZ 2021-0343.
Second.
Who second?
Mike.
Mr. Rand.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so a motion has been made by Vice Chair Rowland and seconded by Commissioner Aguirre. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Okay. This parcel has been granted for R2 zoning.
Okay. Yeah, this is a recommendation by the planning commission that will be moved on to the city council for final action.
Right.
Okay. Now we have 4C, comprehensive plan discussion.
Basically, just a discussion. I was just checking in to see if anyone had a chance to read it and if they had any comments. I believe that probably the time to discuss it will be at the next meeting when people do have a chance to really go through it, because it is a 100+ page document and it will take a while to go through it, but just want to give the planning commission a chance. If they have any questions at this point, we can talk about it. If not, we're moving on to the next agenda.
I've not had a chance to look through it thoroughly.
Okay.
I've glanced through it. I've made a couple of highlights, but not where I feel comfortable in a discussion at this point.
Okay.
Nor have I.
I'm only on page 40 reading it so far.
Okay. I kind of figured that, but I just wanted to check in with you. Just if there was something you thought needed explanation or something like that. So we will discuss it more in depth at the next meeting.
Okay. Any public comments at this time? Okay, and any additional items from staff?
Just following up on Commissioner Rand's discussion a little bit before. couple things were underfoot. As you know, a while back, the planning commission approved or recommended approval of an ordinance that had to do accessory dwelling units. Also in that ordinance was accessory units to a commercial use or industrial use for basically a night watchman and stuff. So that's kind of what I think, and I don't want to put words into Commissioner Rand's mouth, but basically looking at some of those things, and maybe we need to relook at that ordinance and look at possibly using on-site mobile homes or other things that provide for that security that's needed, because it sounds like it's an issue that's coming up and probably needs to be addressed. How are we going to help our business community when they, have something and they need, on-site people or on-site security? How are we going to make it possible in our ordinances?
I would agree with that.
I didn't know, if there's any thoughts of the planning commission that can give me directions on what I can do is start looking for next meeting and have maybe some alternatives that the planning commissions can start looking at, because I'm sure there's other jurisdictions out there that are having the same issue as we're having. And be kind of curious to see how they are addressing it in their ordinances and how they're addressing allow it. I know that, the council, when we did take the accessory dwelling unit to them, they kind of tabled it. Their concern was that we did allow them in the R1. And I think they wanted to think a little bit more about that. We eventually hopefully go back to them, or we may bring it back to the planning commission to modify it a little bit to make it more acceptable, maybe looking at accessory dwellings in the R2 and R3 instead of the R1. But I think the accessory dwellings in the commercial and industrial zones is something that we really look at. I know when I was in Benton County, we had a provision basically for a night watchman, but we had some, fairly large, talking about 40-acre developments of cold store and stuff like that, where they have on-site security and on-site overnight people. But I think we need to kind of look at that, see how we can help the businesses in the city of Sunnyside address some of the issues that, this is not the first time I've heard it tonight. I've heard it from other people too, so.
I think, I'll look into some things, Mike. I know that the hotel down at the corner of, it's almost 6th and Highway 12 gets constant new folks in and out through that hotel, and in their off time they wander down 6th Street and take anything that's not nailed down. My girlfriend's got a business down the street and they live in Granger, and so when their cameras go off, she asks us to go over and help her out with some of that. Constantly trying to break in. As soon as we flush them out of her property, they come to ours, and it's a constant problem. I think maybe we should address looking into the hotel and what types of people are coming in. Are they getting bussed in like they get bussed in Yakima on First Street? I'm not sure. But these are people that don't belong in Sunnyside. They don't live here. They have enough money to stay at a hotel. Why specifically are they coming to Sunnyside?
Yeah, I don't have an answer. I know that hotel has been an issue, and I know code enforcement, and I think police department has been there quite a few times.
Right.
I'm wondering if maybe we need some direction from council.
I would like to say one thing on this. Just like Madam Chair said, in the middle of the night.
David, I'm sorry, we can't hear you. I don't know if we.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Just like Madam Chair is saying, is it really sucks at the middle of the night when your alarm goes off and your motion cameras and your phone goes crazy, and then when you show up down at your business, you got a homeless guy. As he puts it, I'm just borrowing a few pieces of wood so I can make my shelter back here in the trees. And we've had to inform them that they can't take pallets and build a shelter in my trees. So, having on-site security really makes a big difference. And since we have had them move out, since we started this process, when the city came and told us that they shouldn't be there until we get approval. We've had 13 different incidences that we've had to go down in the last 4 months. So, we might want to address that, like you're saying, with the commercial zoning, and the R2 and R3, because, you can understand the council not wanting to put a bunch of those units in a bunch of R1 area with a whole bunch of really fancy homes, and then have the homeowner, knowingly that they're not supposed to rent them out. But, oh, nobody's going to find out we're renting it, and then they're rented. And I can understand that, because that is a problem in some of the other towns because of housing. So, if we can address it, I know I won't be able to vote on this because it does pertain to me, and it would benefit me, but I think it would be a good thing for the town to look for more into.
Yeah, and realistically, you can vote on it because it's going to be a legislative action. It's not going to be a site-specific action.
Oh,
While
okay.
it'll benefit you, but it's the city as a whole, not just your property.
Oh, okay. I just don't want to cause any conflict for the city.
Mhm.
Now, this is why I was wondering, Mike, if we maybe need direction from council to approach this.
I think this is just my opinion, and the planning commission may have a different opinion. I think it'd be nice if we came up with some directions or some, here's the issue, here's the alternatives we'd like to look at, and then do a workshop with the council, as opposed to just say, well, here's the problem, what do you want us to do? It's better to take something and say, hey, we've got some alternatives that we would like to flush out. What's your opinion on these alternatives?
That certainly makes sense.
I agree with you, Mike. That sounds good.
I agree.
Okay. Any other comments or suggestions?
Not for me, no, sir. Okay, so next regular meeting is November 9th, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I have no conflicts.
None here.
Okay, so with the this meeting, let's try and encourage our other commissioners to be next meeting to discuss what we just talked about, coming up with a plan and ideas for council, and also to pass Abraham's zoning for his RV spaces. And meeting is adjourned at 7:15, 6:15.
I'm sorry, Britton, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. So let's try and encourage our other commissioners to be at the next meeting so we can get Commissioner Rand's RV spaces passed, and also have some ideas and thoughts maybe already put in place to pass on to Mike for what we just talked about as far as the security around town and homeless issues and thievery. So he's got something to work with. Maybe send him an email if you've got any ideas on maybe other towns that you know of that maybe are our same size, having the same issues. And we can adjourn the meeting at 6:15.
So moved.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Right.
Good night. Thank you.
I hate this Zoom stuff.